Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 274 of bulking to 75 kilos. And do I look pregnant? Because we finally reached 75 kilos after 9 months. Now, it suddenly went very fast. I was struggling to get past 73 kilos for a couple months. And then after Japan, I just started scarfing down food. And I think in the span of like a month and a half, I went from 73 or even lower than that to 75 right now. So I gained a lot of weight, but the goal of weight has now been reached. I'm gonna continue this bulk for 2 more months, but the main goal is not gonna be to gain weight. It's gonna be to basically main gain. No, I'm gonna main gain or maintain my weight while trying to gain more muscle, strip down some fat and water weight. Because don't get me wrong, my tactic is to bulk slowly. If you bulk slowly, the more slowly you gain the weight, the more of that weight will be actual muscle compared to fat and water. While you can gain 2 kilos every month, or if you're American, 4 pounds every month, but you're not able to gain that much muscle every month. So inevitably some of that muscle is gonna or some of that weight is gonna be fat. It's gonna be water weight. It's basically gonna be useless. But anyway, I'm gonna do some posing here to just compare. Last time I got a comment from someone, a suggestion to just like put some stuff from the beginning next to it. So that's what I'll do. And yeah, let's just see if there is any difference. Okay, so I actually recorded that video yesterday on Sunday. Today is Monday, and we're doing hamstrings. But let's talk about the progress, because I've gained a bit more than 5 kilos now. I guess like 5.5 kilos, because I'm actually a tiny bit heavier than 75 kilos. But like the progress is visible in my opinion. And I think the areas that grew the most are first of all legs, which I'm very happy with. Like legs were my weak point, and maybe they still are, but not as much as before. And they grew a lot. And just sitting on the couch like this as well, I just noticed that my legs are thicker than before, and other people even notice as well. They're like, Tim, how are your legs? How did they become so thick, or how did your ass become so thick? That's those are some things I've been told by colleagues and friends and whatnot. But I'm very happy with that. And then other than that, the areas that grew the most are, I think, shoulders, arms, and back. So basically, most things except my chest, which is logical. If you think about my bulk, I've been doing 4 exercises for 90% of the bulk, which is planche, front lever, pistol squats, and Nordic rolls. Now, none of these exercises really target the chest, so they're gonna target other muscles, especially the shoulders with front lever and planche, especially the quadriceps with the squats, basically, right? So I've basically been trying to get strong at those exercises, and the muscles that have been used got bigger naturally. And that's kind of the philosophy I take with my training. I don't just train to get bigger, to get more muscle, because although that's fun, to me it's not the main goal. I enjoy getting stronger, and that's always going to be my focus. Because if you try to get stronger, right, or you try to get better at some kind of sport, as long as you're eating enough, you're going to put on muscle. That's kind of the way I think about it. And now, since 1 month, I've been focusing on push-ups more. I think in the last 2 months of this build, you're going to see that basically, because I focus on push-ups more, my chest is gonna get stronger. Because of that, it's also gonna get bigger. So it's gonna, bring out my weak point a little bit. But all in all, very happy with the progress. And yeah, let's just continue because the progress in this bulk, if there's one thing, if you've been watching for a while, if there's one thing that you will have noticed, it's that not everything. Always goes to plan. There are lots of failures. I failed the planche hold attempt for 20 seconds multiple times, as did I do the front lever attempt multiple times. The squat, at the moment, 56 kilos is the max. I failed to basically improve that to 60 kilos before, and now I'm a bit injured, right? So there are setbacks as well, but if plan A fails, there is still plan B, and so on, right? So the most important part is not whether everything goes perfectly to plan, it's whether you're able to adapt, improvise, adapt, and overcome those failures or mistakes or setbacks, I should say, right? If you're able to overcome those and stay consistent, you're gonna make gains. Today, I'm gonna make gains as well in the form of a hamstring training. So yeah, last time I did the pinkies stuff, For the hamstrings as well, I'm coming back from a bit of an injury, so I've lowered the intensity, but now I'm slowly building back up. So last time was the first time doing pinky assisted Nordic curls again. I was doing 5 reps for 5 sets. Today I'm gonna see if I can do 5 sets and 6 reps or 7 sets, or 6 reps or 7 reps, or maybe 8, We'll see. But it's gonna give me a good burn, and then afterwards, we'll see what happens. Let's go. Fuck it. 8 reps, 3 more than last time. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hit 8 sets or 5 sets, I should say, but I'm gonna try my best, because it's an important detail in training, Oftentimes people will just do random shit in their training, something different every time, but in my opinion, an important detail in your training is to do similar or the same stuff every time and do a little bit more, do it a little bit harder. So add some reps, add some load, do it with some weight, do a harder variation, but improve somewhere on that same training, and then try to improve and improve over and over and over again. Eventually, you're not going to be able to do that anymore, but then, you can switch to something different once you just tired out yourself and once you know that you made progress. Because if you do random shit, you don't know if you're progressing, but if you do the same stuff over and over, but harder each time, you know that you're getting stronger, which is very important to make progress. So I'm gonna do 4 more sets, put a timer, and then go from there. All right, 5 sets of 8 reps done. Now, is this my absolute max? As you can clearly see, it's not, but that's not important, The most important part is that it's more than last time. I'm improving compared to last time, and you don't have to do all of your sets to the maximum. Now, you might be asking yourself, like, Timmy, what the fuck are you saying? Are you saying I should train like a pussy to improve, to make gains? Of course, that's not what I'm saying, I'm saying you should not do all of your sets to the maximum. I'm not saying you should do none of your sets to the maximum. For me, personally, the workout mostly consists out of 2 parts. You have your main portion, your hypertrophy part, where you want to basically consistently do harder things than last time. For example, now it's these Nordic curl reps. For me, on push days, for example, the planche, I'm trying to do consistently harder combos over time. And then after that, you have a portion where you basically go balls to the wall, do your maximum for a couple of sets. Now, it doesn't have to be a lot of sets. I would say 1 or 2 sets 2 sets maximum, because the way I got injured in my hamstring, the way I got injured in my hip is by basically doing more than those 2 sets to the max, because those, of course, they're gonna put a heavy tax on your body, but also, when you go to your limit, oftentimes technique goes out of the window a little bit, and it's easier to injure yourself. And also, it's just easy to put too much strain on your body to the point that you're not able to recover for the next workout, where if you then again go very hard, you're just breaking down your body bit by bit. So you want to watch out for that. But right now, I'm going to do one more set where I'm going to go to my limit. I'm going to do negative Nordic curls, which is a very important part to learn the Nordic curl if you want to learn this movement, which I highly recommend. Basically, if you can control the negative completely, it means that you're kind of ready to start attempting the Nordic curl with a bit of momentum. You use a bit of bounce off the floor to get back up. But yeah, that's a very important step. I'm going to try and do some negatives here, then push myself up, assisting with my index finger. And then once I'm not able to do a meaningful negative anymore, I'm just going to basically do full reps assisted with the index finger, assisting on the way down and up until I'm dead, until I can't go no more. All right, that's it. Let's head inside and discuss. Okie dokie, boys and girls, that's it for today's workout. And that last set was nasty as hell, Those negatives are heavy as fuck, and I did not expect to be able to 10, or I guess almost 10 of them. Plus, then the superset as well was very nice. But yeah, if you can do those negatives, it only takes a little bounce to get you back up some part of the way, and then you can just pull with your hamstrings. So that's how you get your first Nordic curl. But yeah, very happy with this training. And let's talk about the bulk. 9 months, an entire baby can be made in this time period. So it's quite a long time period. If you're talking about babies being born. But I guess within me, I've gained 5.5 kilos. I guess 2 babies have grown in this time period. And in the beginning, when I started this bulk, I set these goals, and it was kind of just in a way of, wouldn't that be fucking crazy if I can actually do it? Like 20 seconds of planche when bulked up, 45 seconds of front lever when bulked up. I guess my front lever, it was like more of 42 seconds, but very happy with that nonetheless. 20 Nordic rolls we did as well. And, not all of the goals are going to go to like to plan, of course. Like I set these goals thinking to myself, like that would be fucking crazy. I don't know if I can do this. And some of them I did. Others, like the pistol squat, are not going as planned. But it's not only about the goals. The goals are only the goal is not the goal. I guess when you set some goals, because it's more of a means to find meaning and rewarding feelings in your training. So the true training is not about reaching a certain number in a certain exercise. The true training is it sounds fucking it's the friends you make along the way and the lessons you learn along the way. Because that's truly what makes you better. That's what makes you progress, not only in your training but also in your life. That's what's fun about training. The progression itself, the day-to-day struggle and the reward that you get for it, but also sometimes the setbacks. You need those as well. And I feel like in these 9 months, I've just been on a very good streak of being consistent and training like to the best of my ability, or at least what I consider the best of my ability at the time. Because sometimes you also have these realizations, like, oh shit, I've been slacking off, or I've been underestimating the amount I should actually do. I had one of those realizations today with the chest training I'm doing lately, but I'll talk about that tomorrow in the push workout. But yeah, there is so many lessons along the way. As long as you keep pushing yourself consistently, you're going to learn stuff, you're going to learn what you're actually capable of, and you're going to make progress, whether you want to bulk or cut or just get some skills, or, run, or, get better cardio, become stronger in general, whatever. If you keep consistent and you keep moving towards your goal, even if you stray off the path, just reconsider every day. What is the best option you have to get towards your goal? If you did it on a consistent basis, on a daily basis, there's no way that you're gonna regress. You're gonna move forward, and that's the most important part. And yeah, every time like a month passes by, I look back making like a short video on what I did that month, and I get that feeling, and it's the feeling, the rewarding feeling, the thankful feeling, and I highly recommend it. That's all I'm gonna say. So that's it for today's workout. I'm gonna head downstairs and have some dinner, and I'll see you tomorrow for a push day, which is gonna be awesome. So I'll see you then.